Good evening, folks. So it's a bit of a late one, but I just wanted to come on for a few minutes um, to talk about the fact that um, today's the 7th, and in 2 days, we have stretched that deadline for the CBA. But on a positive note, Stewie has now come out and said they feel confident um, that something will get done. So no news is not necessarily bad news and is not an indicator that nothing is happening. It just may be an indicator that nobody's talking to the media because they feel it's better not to speak to the media at this point. So we're going to see where this goes together because I have absolutely no inside information and can find nothing but the information about Stewie coming out. And it's basically the comment was that she was breaking her silence on the subject. Now, um, second thing is Lisa Bluder was interviewed uh, recently, in fact, in the Midwestern paper, and I can't remember the name of it because I only printed out the page that I was concerned with sharing with you. But the entire article will be in the description of this video for you to read. It talks about a lot of stuff, what would she have done if she'd not go into coaching? Um, if you were the head of women's basketball, what would be your first action? Things like that. So talking about, of course, her magnificent career as a basketball coach. And secondly, other things like what do you uh, regret about spending so much time coaching? And of course, her answer was um, missing a lot of her own kids' games, stuff like that. But she talks about the positives for her children that they were treated to that other kids didn't have the opportunity to as a result of her coaching. So it's a pretty great interview, actually. But one of the questions was, what was the biggest challenge in coaching Caitlyn Clark? And here's what she said. I'm going to read it to you. Two aspects, really. First, during COVID, there was nobody in the stands. It was hard to build relationships because of the isolation. To get her to become a good leader, it took time because she was so used to doing everything on her own. But she learned it, and she learned it really well. Second, at the end of her career, there was so much noise. All of the people that wanted a piece of her. I'm amazed at how she handled it. She didn't get a big head. She was still a goofy kid instead of becoming a prima donna. And that's about the best thing that you can say about Caitlyn Clark. She's not just a great three-point shooter. She's not just a great mid-range shooter. In fact, if she's not shooting great that night, Caitlyn Clark knows how to pass the ball. In fact, what Caitlyn Clark has learned over the course of her college career was how to be a leader on a basketball team, to set up her teammates, to make everybody around her better. And she carried that right into the WNBA, okay? Her adaptation to the WNBA took virtually no time, okay? She broke every record there was to break, and she broke the record for breaking records, okay? She is, without a doubt, all right, without a doubt, a generational player, a player that, we haven't seen in the past, and we're probably not going to see another player like her for a very long time. In fact, one NBA player uh, said at one point, I can't remember who it was, maybe we'll see a lot of women playing like her in 20 years. That was his comment. So I do, I just wanted to drop by tonight so you wouldn't think that I wasn't paying attention and I wasn't looking around and looking for material. I really don't want to cover Unrivaled. I haven't paid much attention to that. There is a story out there about how one player that's playing with Lexi Holland Unrivaled would be a great addition to the Indiana Fever. And there's some other chatter out there about them. I don't know who it was. Robin Lundgren maybe mentioned another player that I mentioned a while ago, that they Azura Stevens, that the Fever should go after. So there is chatter out there about who the Fever should look at in free agency, because once the CBA is settled, that's the first thing that's going to happen. Is free agency is going to explode, because it should have started in January. It can't start until the CBA is settled and solved. So we'll talk about that in tomorrow night's video, okay? But I do have some excellent footage here. And I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's getting late and I got to hit the hay, but I'm going to show a little bit of this. I know I say that every night and I end up playing the whole damn thing every night, but I promise you tonight I will only show a few minutes. I know these are things that we've all seen elsewhere, but this is a pretty cool video, and I do want to show you this evening. So hang on here. The title of this one is Last Second Maximum Pressure, Zero Fear. Okay? So we're going to show a little bit of this tonight.
After a rough start. Clark, a little bit of daylight. Hamilton has been to Caitlyn Clark all night tonight.
Are you talking about my high school experience? Clark, cut it! Wheeler finds Clark from the logo.
A stagger on the weak side, but she comes off a pin down here, wide open. Bang! Asia Wilson and Kelsey Plum combining for 42 of Vegas's 61 points. Clark was able to drive and comes away holding on to her. We've got some score power on the court.
Watch that inside hand, that left hand. Caitlyn Clark gets away.
Sabrina Ionescu, one of the best three-point shooters, set all kinds of three-point records last year. Here's Caitlyn Clark driving. She's got the first 5 points.
That time from Phoenix.
Good job by Cunningham to quickly get on Clark.
Clark sinks the screen and got the layup and one.
Caitlyn Clark plays with a confidence that instantly changes the mood of the game. She doesn't rush possessions or chase highlights. She lets the action come to her, then strikes at exactly the right moment. That patience makes her incredibly difficult to guard. Her control with the ball stands out immediately. Caitlyn uses smooth dribbles, subtle hesitations, and quick reads to stay one step ahead of defenders. She understands how to create space without needing much room, turning tight coverage.
Can they defend and stop other players from other teams from scoring?
Well, last year Indiana was 10th in pace. Christy Sides telling us Clark rattles her second three.
I would do for you. I don't have that luxury. Nice give and go. Clark right at the cup, and she gets the bucket.
12 points. The Fever looking to erase. Here's Clark, catch and shoot. Hits a three! I think still got a standard. At least two of us know what's going on. Clark at the other end.
Knocked away by Clark. Here's Clark ahead of the field. Caitlyn Clark has her first All-Star.
Howard blocked by Boston. Here comes Caitlyn. Get it! Clark. Rocco Clark wins!
And look, there is no question that the paint is a completely different story as Clark just went right by her former teammate.
The intensity on defense that has started this run for Atlanta, the help side's got to be there.
How about good interior passing, but Indiana's got to stop letting the ball get into the paint. They've got to keep it out.
Clark, step back, hits a three!
Had an open look from three, didn't take it. Only three to shoot. Gonna have to make something happen. Clark through the lane, reverses it in.
Clark launches, nails it.
There, see, so I stopped it tonight, okay? But you guys can see that by going to the description of the video, because I will put it in there. You know that Wheeler finds Clark from the logo never, ever gets old. And you know what? In closing, let me just say something. I think one of the things that often gets overlooked with Caitlyn Clark's offense is when she takes that ball to the hoop. I mean, she is, I mean, they can talk about her three-point shooting all they want, but she knows how to get to that basket. She makes people look ridiculous in the paint. She really does. So that's what we got for you tonight. I will be back tomorrow. I'm going to be hunting around to see if anything happens with the CBA. And we will talk tomorrow night. We're going to talk about some potential, clearly some potential targets for the Fever in free agency. We're going to be looking at a very different team next year. I truly believe that. And remember, it's going to take time for them to gel. But clearly, the Indiana Fever want to build around Caitlyn Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Kelsey Mitchell. And in order to do that, the number one priority once free agency is up is Kelsey Mitchell needs to be brought back. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. You have a great night.